Walk into your living room tonight and look at your TV. Not the picture, not the colors, not the brightness, just the TV. Because in 2025, that screen isn't just showing you content. It's watching you right back. Smart TVs were supposed to be the future of entertainment, the device that made your home feel smarter, easier, more connected. And yet, somewhere between the convenience and the magic, something else crept in. Something manufacturers never brag about on the box. Your TV became a data vacuum. Every tap, every app, every show you watch, every voice command you whisper when you think no one else is listening. Most people don't realize this, but smart TVs are now one of the top data-collecting devices in the entire house. More than your phone, more than your laptop, more than that creepy chatbot pop-up you regret clicking last week. And the wildest part? Nobody reads the terms of service. Nobody checks the toggles. Everyone hits agree because all they want is to watch Netflix before bed. That one tap is the moment your living room stops belonging to you. So today, we're ranking the 5 biggest smart TV ecosystems from the worst offenders, the ones that treat your privacy like confetti, to the setups that actually respect your personal space. And trust me, what we found is a whole lot uglier than any privacy policy update email you've ever ignored. Let's start with number 5, the ecosystem that cares the least about what you think, because it already knows everything about you anyway. Number 5, Amazon Fire TV, the retail machine masquerading as a TV platform. If data collection were an Olympic sport, Amazon wouldn't just win gold, they'd own the stadium. Fire TV looks harmless on the shelf. Cute interface, familiar brand, voice remote. And if you ever bought a pack of AA batteries from Amazon in 2011, congratulations, you already have an Amazon account ready to plug in. But here's the secret. Nobody notices. Fire TV isn't a streaming platform. It's a shopping funnel. Every recommendation, every home screen banner, every autoplay trailer is tied directly to your Amazon profile. Your viewing habits? Logged. Your app usage? Logged. Your voice commands? Logged. Your kids clicking random cartoons? Logged. Everything feeds the same machine. The one that decides what ads follow you around the internet, what products Amazon pushes to your homepage, and how your household is profiled. And opting out? Good luck. Amazon hides privacy toggles like they're Easter eggs. Voice activity is in one menu, interest-based ads in another, app usage in a third. None grouped together, none obvious. It's almost like they don't want you to find them. Even the home screen feels like Times Square at midnight. Half the tiles aren't shows you picked. They're ads Amazon was paid to show you. And that little microphone on the remote? Always waiting for the wake word. Always sending voice data to the cloud, unless you explicitly shut it down. Fire TV is perfect for convenience lovers. But if privacy matters to you at all, this ecosystem sits dead last. Number 4, Roku, the budget hero with a catch. Roku changed the world. Simple remote, simple interface, simple setup. And behind that simplicity, a business model built entirely on tracking what you watch. Roku sells hardware at razor-thin margins, sometimes even at a loss. Why? Because advertising and data collection pay the bills. The most controversial feature is ACR, automatic content recognition. Roku calls it Use Info from TV Inputs. What does it do? Everything. It scans streaming apps, cable boxes, gaming consoles, Blu-ray, even DVDs. Anything that hits the screen gets logged. What you watched, how long, which source, which time of day. A CR is on by default. And most buyers enable it without realizing, because they click OK during setup. Yes, you can turn it off, buried in settings greater than privacy. But Roku doesn't exactly wave a flag about it. Even if you disable tracking, Roku's home screen is an advertisement theme park. Sponsored rows, paid placements, promotional tiles everywhere. Roku is affordable. Roku is easy. But the reason it's cheap is because you're the product being sold. Number 3. Samsung Tizen OS. The beautiful panel with a not-so-beautiful agenda. Samsung makes gorgeous TVs, elite brightness, perfect motion, world-class hardware. But their software? A completely different story. Samsung uses something called Viewing Information Services. It's their version of ACR, and it's enabled unless you manually switch it off. The second you plug the TV in, Samsung starts collecting what you watch, which apps you use, which inputs you switch to, how long you stay on each service. Even your voice commands go to Samsung's cloud. Remember the 2015 scandal? When Samsung got caught admitting in their privacy policy that voice data could be shared with third parties? People freaked out. Samsung said it was a misunderstanding. But the damage was done, because the truth was revealed. Samsung's biggest profits aren't from selling TVs. They're from monetizing the people watching them. The interface is polished, but it's built to keep you inside Samsung's universe. Samsung channels, Samsung ads, Samsung recommendations. Can you disable tracking? Yes. Is it easy? Absolutely not. If you don't spend 10 to 15 minutes hunting down the right toggles, your brand new $1,200 TV is basically a surveillance billboard with quantum dots. Now that we've torn apart the loudest offenders, let's move into the part nobody expects. The platforms that pretend to protect your privacy, and the ones that actually do. Because here's the truth modern TV companies hate. Your television doesn't need to be smart. It just needs to be honest. And honesty is rare in 2025. Number 2. Google TV. The surveillance giant that surprisingly plays fair. If this ranking were purely based on how much data a company could collect, Google would be sitting comfortably at the bottom of the list next to Amazon. Google built the modern internet. Google tracks more behavior than any tech company on the planet. Google invented the idea of you are the product. So why isn't Google TV ranked lower? Because unlike everyone beneath it, Google is transparent. They tell you exactly what they're taking. They give you toggles that actually work. And the irony is, the company with the biggest data machine is one of the few that lets the user take the wheel. Google TV tracks your app usage, watch history, search terms, recommendations, ad behavior. But, and this is the difference, you can shut almost all of it off in under 5 minutes. Ad personalization? Off. Web and app activity? Off. Voice and audio history? Off. Assistant storing your commands? Off. Location-based suggestions? Off. The menus aren't hidden inside a labyrinth of submenus. They're grouped logically. They're labeled clearly. You don't need to be a software engineer to find them. You just need to care. And it's not a coincidence. Google got hammered by European regulators for years. GDPR forced them to build real user controls. And for once, that pressure worked to your advantage. So yes, Google TV still collects data by default. Yes, Google still sells ads. And yes, your living room behavior still feeds the algorithm unless you intervene. But compared to Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung, Google TV feels like the first day of spring. A small breeze, a little sunlight, and, for once, a sense that the company isn't actively trying to hide the truth. Use it correctly, and Google TV becomes a safe middle ground for normal people who just want their streaming apps without selling their soul in the process. But it still isn't number 1. Not even close. Because there's one setup, one configuration, that absolutely destroys every smart ecosystem in this ranking. Not because it has the best interface, not because it has the fewest ads, not because it has the best recommendations, but because it commits the ultimate act of rebellion. It refuses to track anything at all. Number 1. A dumb TV plus Apple TV 4K or NVIDIA Shield. The Privacy Fortress. This isn't a brand. This isn't an OS. This isn't another corporation promising your data is secure. This is a loophole, a way around the surveillance system entirely. And it's the only setup in 2025 that puts you back in control. Here's how it works. You buy a dumb TV, a panel with no apps, no Wi-Fi, no internet connection, no built-in spying, commercial displays, hospitality panels, pro monitors. They still exist, and they look incredible. Then, you pair it with an Apple TV 4K or an NVIDIA Shield. Instantly, you've built the safest television experience possible. Why? Because the TV itself collects nothing. Zero data, zero watching history, zero ACR, zero microphone activity, zero home tracking. It's literally impossible for the panel to spy because it doesn't have the hardware or software to do so. And as for the streaming box, Apple's model doesn't rely on selling your identity. They make money by selling expensive devices, not by monetizing your personal behavior. Apple TV doesn't use ACR, doesn't scan what you watch, doesn't sell your viewing habits, doesn't push sponsored content, doesn't track you across apps without permission. They don't need your data because you already paid for the device. Apple's privacy approach is simple. Your TV should show movies, not harvest your personal life. And here's where it gets insane. Apple introduced App Tracking Transparency, the feature that forces apps to ask for permission before tracking you. On Apple TV, it works exactly the same. Apps can't follow you. They can't sell your behavior. They can't monitor your watch patterns without explicit permission. If you disable tracking, ads become generic. No behavioral fingerprinting, no personal targeting, no silent analytics. NVIDIA Shield is also solid. Not as privacy-focused as Apple, but worlds better than smart TV OSs. Pair either one with a dumb panel, and you suddenly have zero spying, zero ACR, zero ad-driven manipulation, zero hidden data channels. Your TV becomes what it used to be, a screen, not a surveillance device. And that's why this combination is #1 by a landslide. The twist: nobody expects smart TV companies hate this setup. Why? Because it breaks their business model. TV manufacturers don't make money selling you the TV. They make money after you buy it. By selling your usage data, injecting ads, and controlling the content pipeline. A dumb TV doesn't let them do any of that. An Apple TV doesn't let them do any of that. This setup returns your living room to your control, not theirs. Here's the part the manufacturers pray you never reach. The truth about why modern TVs behave the way they do. Because at this point in the video, you already know the ranking. You know who spies the hardest. You know who hides the settings. You know who offers real controls, and who just pretends. But now, we're stepping deeper into the layer beneath the settings. The part almost no buyer understands, and that smart TV companies hope never becomes mainstream knowledge. Let's start with the biggest myth in the entire TV industry. Myth. If I don't use the built-in apps, my TV isn't tracking me. Wrong. Smart TVs don't just collect data when you click Netflix. Most of them track whatever appears on the screen. Even HDMI sources. You can plug in a gaming console, a cable box, a Blu-ray player, a streaming stick. The TV doesn't care. If ACR is enabled, it recognizes the images frame by frame and logs them anyway. That's why Amazon calls it interest-based content. Samsung disguises it as viewing information services. Roku buries it as use info from TV inputs. Different names, same goal. If your TV can see it, someone else can too. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Smart TVs don't need to hack you. You voluntarily sign the permission slip. When you accept the setup terms, the one nobody reads, the one everyone taps through to get to YouTube, you're agreeing to give up detailed information about your life. Who you watch, what you watch, when you watch, which apps you open, how long you stay on each screen, which scenes get paused, which ads get skipped, which characters make you rewind. And here's the kicker. All of this becomes part of a household profile that is either used internally to train ad algorithms or sold to third-party advertisers across the globe. Now, combine that with a microphone that's always listening for a wake word, and your living room becomes the least private room in the house. The back door nobody talks about. In 2017, when WikiLeaks dropped the CIA documents, everyone learned the bleeding truth. Smart TVs had been targeted for years as entry points into the home. Not because the CIA cares what shows you binge-watch, but because the TV OS, like any internet-connected computer, is vulnerable. TechCrunch said attacks are rare. Sure. But rare becomes meaningless when the device is sitting in every living room on Earth. The point isn't fear, the point is reality. When a TV becomes a computer, it also inherits a computer's weaknesses. And most buyers don't even know what OS is running on their screen, let alone how to secure it. This brings us to the most important section in the entire video, the 2025 Smart TV Privacy Checklist. The settings you must turn off, or your TV will track you by default. If you own a smart TV right now, pause this mentally and take notes. 1. Turn off ACR, Automatic Content Recognition. The biggest source of tracking. Look for Viewing Information Services, Live Plus, Use Info from TV Inputs, Content Recognition, Viewing Data, whatever they call it, turn it off. 2. Disable Ad Personalization. Smart TVs build ad profiles unless you manually stop it. Turn off interest-based ads, personalized ads, ad recommendations. Generic ads are annoying. Personalized ads are surveillance. 3. Limit voice features. If your TV remote has a microphone, assume it's always listening for activation. Turn off always listening. Voice analytics, voice activity history. Switch voice activation to manual button only. 4. Don't connect the TV itself to Wi-Fi if you use a streaming box. This one shocks people. If you watch through Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick, or Shield, your smart TV never needs to be online at all. No Wi-Fi equals no data leaving the panel, no app activity logged, no tracking pipeline active. This single step cuts tracking by 70 to 90%. 5. Review app permissions. Some TVs ask for access to your microphone, location, camera, contacts. Yes, seriously. If you see a permission that makes no sense, deny it immediately. 6. Disable automatic content previews. These are often tied to ad recommendation engines. It's not just helpful UI, it's a data harvesting trigger. 7. If possible, buy the #1 setup from this ranking next time. A dumb TV plus Apple TV or Shield. No spying, no hidden toggles, no buried settings. Total control. Why this matters more in 2025 than ever before. 10 years ago, smart TVs were simple. Clumsy apps, slow processors, basic features. Today? Smart TVs are ad platforms, data pipelines, voice processors, profile builders, connected devices with always-on analytics. The picture quality improved. But the business model shifted into a direction nobody asked for. And here's the truth people hate hearing. TV companies don't sell televisions anymore. They sell access to you, your habits, your identity, your preferences, your household patterns, your ad behavior. That's why privacy settings are buried. That's why ACR is turned on by default. That's why the home screen is packed with ads you never requested. You were never supposed to notice. But now you do. The part most people miss. This isn't about paranoia. This isn't about fear. This isn't about thinking your TV is plotting against you. This is about awareness. Because once you know how smart TVs operate, you can shut off the tracking, block the ads, stop the profiling, take back control, and decide on your terms. Tech should serve the user, not harvest the user. And when people understand how easy it is to secure their living rooms, everything changes. That's why this video matters. Final message. The choice is yours. Smart TVs collect data because they assume you won't fight back. They assume you won't check the menus. They assume you won't read the terms. They assume you won't spend 10 minutes protecting yourself. But you're here. You're informed. You know exactly which brands track the hardest. You know which ecosystem gives you real control. You know which setup is the absolute safest in 2025. And now, you have the only thing the industry can't control: knowledge. If this video helped you protect your privacy or opened your eyes to how much tracking happens in your home, make sure you subscribe to Appliance Trap. Because we're not done exposing the tricks big tech hopes you never figure out. Your home should feel safe. Your TV should feel like entertainment, not surveillance. And now, you finally know how to make that happen.